Épisode 8. La Vérité Verte. Green Truth. Love always perseveres.
Ouais. Allô? Ouais. Il y a quelqu'un? Allô? Bien. Si vous appelez encore une fois, j'appelle la police, d'accord?
Attends, elle, c'est moi, Freeda.
Freeda? Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Tu vas bien? Pourquoi I've been calling you for days. Why are you not answering? I was worried.
You know why. You know even more than myself.
Ok, viens.
No. You calm down.
But
What? You have some clients? I thought so.
Okay, give me a minute. Is it cold?
I'm sure that for a young 54-years-old lady, spring breeze will be just a refreshment. Her truth is her shield.
You really don't plan to detach from that walls of yours, huh?
No, just
Fear kills faster than the virus. Once a wise lady told me that. On the first day I met her.
I'm not afraid.
Ok, super. Génial. How about we go for a walk? Look, it's such a lovely day.
Okay. Where would you like to go?
No special wish, just for a walk. You choose.
We can try on our left.
Bien. Left. À gauche.
How is your knee?
Okay. Better. Better than my heart. You know, in addition to the theory that we intentionally choose people before we land down here so we could evolve eventually, I could sum it all up in this way. Men hurt us, but we don't choose them. Our insecurities do. So, how can we blame the weakness? Members of our family hurt us, but they were already wounded even before our arrival. They have never walked and will never be in our shoes, so they don't know what we experience, right? In that way, how can we blame ignorance? But when we choose a friend and deliver our whole gut to their plate voluntarily while they pretend to give the same way back, the moment of realizing the existence of unfolded truth in the lake of lies under the clean white clothes leaves indelible trace in our hearts and only confirms that our fear of mistrust in people is justified. And then, you are not only at the beginning again, but the last thin line of hope is erased irreversibly, and you keep being in the middle of somewhere, but with no clue where. So, Dr. Immortelle, I have a question. How not to blame the heart for choosing childishly once again and then bleeding afterwards? Tell me, Dr. Immortelle.
Je suis désolé, Freeda.
You don't have to be sorry. I'm not. Obviously, I needed you for some reasons that I even didn't think about. But the only thing I regret is that I really have no connection with my intuition. I really thought that you are not here just for a season. For 3 days, I'm trying to forgive myself for not hearing well. Seems like Musicians can be deaf too.
You are not deaf, Freeda.
No, I'm not. Come on. Eventually, we all learn that it's easier to surrender and admit the truth.
Yes, but not really. Not everyone learns. Some live without getting it.
And what do you plan to do?
Plans are one thing. Life is something completely different. Mostly, the truth is the reason we bleed. When we love others, we don't want to hurt them. It's not that I approve of lies. Just sometimes, not saying everything makes life easier.
Now we are talking about white lies, right?
There is a difference between protecting someone and protecting ourselves. When protecting ourselves, eventually we hurt ourselves the most. More dirt, more stuff to clean. And it is not easy when it goes all the way down. But when protecting your loved ones, white lies are even welcoming. We spare our loved ones of pain. At its extreme, it even sounds selfish to share the pain. Sometimes we should carry all the burden by ourselves.
So, if you are carrying the burden, why do I feel like a shit that was just run over by a truck? I spoke with Monique.
I know how close to each other you are. That's the main problem.
What does she have to do with us?
When we start explaining ourselves to others, it means that we are not clear to ourselves. On the other hand, when we really have to do it, but don't have time or words to explain, lies dressed up in untold truth also kind of simplify life.
Simplify? I'm not a saint, but lies only complicate life, especially when you don't tell a lie, but actually don't tell the whole truth. So much to think about. What to say, how to say it, what not to say. It seems like I'm standing on a line from which I don't see anything anymore. Not even letter H from the hope.
When I look at you, all I see is hundreds of colorful butterflies dancing your faith out.
What? Where did that come from now? Butterflies dancing out my faith?
That first night when we met to Récollet, I met myself after a long time. And these butterflies flying out of your body on the sheets of your music took me back home after a long time.
Home?
But Paris is not my home. Paris isn't anyone's home. Like any big city. Big cities are full of sorrow and sad souls. That's why they are the centers of the earth. If we didn't experience pain, how much art would we have in the end? We can be in a company and dance, have fun, but honestly, most of us are feeling lonely on this lonely planet. You know that travel guide, Lonely Planet? Someone overheard the original name Lovely planet as a lonely planet once. Et voilà. The name changed. We hear only what we feel inside. All else stays unheard. Paris is just a crossroad where the heart meets the lost ones. And if they are lucky or open enough, as you are, they find their way home.
Are you okay, Al? Let's go back to the apartment, huh? Maybe walking wasn't such a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. Good idea. You couldn't have chosen a better moment for it. Just, would you mind if we changed the direction? I know a place nearby where wind finds no room for passage.
Sure.
Can I hold you under your arm? I feel safer. Merci. Where do you want me to start from?
How about from the truth?
Parc de la Villette, tu connais?
Oui, mais I've never had time to visit it.
Cool. Today you have. Do you know anything about it?
Not much, except that's the third biggest park in Paris. And a bit different.
Yeah, it is different. Well, it looks more like a design and art space than a park.
Yeah, I guess that's the reason why it was the last on my list. When I don't work, I prefer going into the green area.
Me too. But most new public spaces seem to have the singular goal of highlighting the identity of the designer rather than human use and comfort. And for that same reason, I guess there are not many tourists here. For which my soul is so grateful. A cylindrical space that allows concentrated listening to the place, a contemplative rediscovery of oneself in transcendence of the place.
Le cylindre sonore, Bernard Leitner, architecte, compositeur, 1987. Wow, he designed the whole park?
No, the park was designed by Bernard Choumi, and this part, the bamboo garden, by Alexandre Chemetov, and the Austrian architect and composer Monsieur Leitner.
Uh-huh. Oh, nice.
You see? No wind here.
Ouais. You were right.
And when am I not right?
When you say your age? And when you, for some reason, lie about your date of birth?
Do you want to put some on your wrist?
What is it?
A roller of basil and thyme.
For?
redemption and courage.
Can I drink it?
Okay. Seems that today courage is something you don't miss.
Well, what do I have to lose?
Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you a rest. Ring the bell?
Of course.
There is something sadomasochistic to it. I mean, in us. God offers us to release the burdens, but then, surprisingly, we don't do it. Seems as if we enjoy having them, as if we are not alive without them, as we are afraid of the lightness and we need something to press us towards the ground. Who knows? Maybe without these burdens, the world would be different. For sure it would. What an interesting sight that would be. Seeing people walking with their sunny side up smiling faces. But then again, we cannot move further before we see the burdens as blessings. And that's why we are stuck with them. We resist to see and accept the blessings of burden. And only from that point we grow. The irony of life. In order to grow, we have to go down deeper. You know why there is no wind here? This amazing bamboo park was deliberately installed 6 meters lower than the rest of the park, and in a corner to which access is not obvious in order to highlight its preciousness. If anyone knows about perseverance, those are the people who grow bamboo trees. I haven't been here for some time, but this is the place where the idea of my art therapy method was born. A few years ago. These trees know the best way to build a character. This plant is the fastest growing plant on the planet, but it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year.
5 years until...
What?
Wait. But how can you know that it will eventually grow?
You can't. You have to believe it will. People have to water and fertilize the ground for 5 years so it could later release 30% more oxygen and absorb more carbon dioxide compared to other plants. Thanks to its strength, which is greater than the steel, bamboo plant embodies the character of resistance, integrity, modesty, and loyalty. When I lose all that, I come here to remember. Only those who strive to have deep roots can grow high, higher than the others. And that, ma chérie, demands solitude, and its first phase, less beautiful side, loneliness. But once we overcome loneliness, the elegance of independence and the strength of solitude prevails in all the battles. Look at yourself. You started from your roots, right?
Well, more like I went back to my roots. Yeah, to remember what matters the most.
S'il te plaît, Freeda. Come, sit here with me. Can you promise me one thing?
Depends what.
No. Really, I need your promise. Don't worry, you are safe. I hope that much trust I still have in your heart.
Okay.
Okay. I just need you to promise me that this will stay among us, and you will not leave before you hear the whole story, okay? Later, it doesn't matter.
Promis.
Meritage da za tebe piše. Meritage o mojim snovim da pivaš. Usuvo slovo na papiru glasom tintu dolivaš. Meritage svitlo nad timenon. I da te zovu pravim imenon, da in glave stoje doli jer su krive mise slušali. Zasvitlit će ti kandila. Da. I tebi, dušo moja. Odsvir ćeš biti sjajnija samo, viruj, strujo moja. Vratit će ti brodice. Napravi vitar, okrenit lice. Zaurla će voja tvoja. Samo viruj, strujo moja. You promised. Your language is my language. And hearing you using it hurts and rejoices at the same time indescribably. If I didn't forgive myself for all bad decisions in the past, I could never become what I am today serving society. It took me a lot of time to heal. And I am still healing. Vulnerability should be my second name. Or the third name. My wounds are still open. And I realized that when you came into my life with your music. The identity card that you found last time in the sofa just before you left. And that I've been looking for since that day when we had session in the dark. This ID shows my real age. 54. Voilà. J'ai 54 ans. I wasn't even 15 when my family, just before Christmas, moved to Colmar, close to Strasbourg, to Paris. And that wouldn't be any unusual thing if my family wasn't only a few months old. Meaning, mes parents, my parents, were not my real parents. And at that point, when we arrived at Paris, I wasn't officially adopted yet. I lived with them in Colmar for only a few months, from autumn to winter in 1982. Those times were complicated for all of us. When I joined them, everyone in Colmar thought that I was their maid. Chubby maid. My foster mother, Milette, she was originally de Paris, but she moved to Colmar to work as a piano teacher. At one point, there was some construction work on the facade of the school, and some guy was caught by my mom's eye. She would say, He was glued to my window. I couldn't avoid him. Persistent, stubborn, and incroyablement charmant. Et un Serbe typique. My foster father had me looking from Serbia in order to find a better life in 70s. And he found it with my foster mom, Millet. Unfortunately, malheureusement, they couldn't have any children.
Monique is adopted.
Yes. No. Bien. Monique is not my sister, or a half-sister. Monique is my daughter, and she doesn't know it.
But why me? And now, I'm her friend.
I'm sorry, Freeda, but I had no choice but to tell you. The reason I came to France from a small village in Dalmatia is because I was 14, pregnant, and I didn't see any future in my country. That spring of 1982 was the beginning of the line from which I didn't see anything anymore. My family wasn't poor, but wasn't well off either. My father, he was a special man, a dreamer, enthusiast. He loved his land, but in comparison to most domicile people, he didn't think it was the only place in the world worth seeing. He enjoyed meeting foreigners, talking to them and imagining their worlds. He was a very wise man with a big heart who believed that tolerance and one mutual language are the only way out of poverty. And what was interesting, and what I didn't understand back then, is that he wasn't thinking of materialistic poverty, but the spiritual one. At that time, he was a very special individual in the area that we lived in. And he always watered all my silly dreams. I've never met anyone so supportive as he was. Out of 4 of us, I was my father's favorite child, and telling him that I will not go abroad and study, it would have killed his dreams. He also loved music and dance, but never had a chance to live it. So, I was his last hope. As I already killed my future by getting pregnant in my first sexual intercourse ever. That's another story. At that moment, I didn't have any strength to tell him for my reckless act. So I left. At the beginning, I thought if I figured out something smart as an excuse, I might return back home. But as time went by, only the shame was on my mind. The only place I knew where I would not be rejected was the nearby estate taken care of by nuns during the summer. Few nuns with Mother Mattia in charge were for years producing Immortelle oil and other various natural products of Mediterranean plants for their own community. They welcomed me there in springtime 1982. Soon after my arrival in June, my future father Radmilo came, and in September he took me to France, to Colmar. If you remember the story about my name, Immortelle, that part was true. Soon after my foster parents met, they got married. And thanks to Radmilo's Croatian friend, he started working on the fields of Immortelle, where our lives would cross through summers after in 1982. I planned to give birth inside the walls of the nun's house, but God wanted it the other way. The reason why Radmilo came to Croatia, Dalmatia, then it was Yugoslavia, but the reason was the urgent necessity for money. In spring 1981, my foster mother Milette was diagnosed with the first signs of mental and emotional disorders. For a long time they thought it was just anxiety, but depression took it over and she couldn't work anymore. From that moment, the only source of money was Dad's work. Also, someone needed to take care of the mom while Dad wasn't around. Thanks to the wise and warm nun, Mother Mattia, who accepted and nourished me during my almost whole pregnancy, the needs of my new parents and myself were satisfied. Being introduced to Radmilo's story, the nun convinced him that having a help in the house and a newborn life might be extremely helpful for his wife, and that God finds miraculous ways to balance the world if we are open enough to see it. Thankfully, she was right. And of course, when God starts helping, He does it in abundant ways. So, He also helped with the papers. As my French parents were not married in the church, in order to get me to France in September 82, while I was still 14, and I didn't have the approval of my real parents, Radmilo needed to marry me in Croatia first.
No. Really?
I know, a bit weird, but what you gotta do, you gotta do. Of course, no one knew about the marriage apart from Mother Mattia, Radmilo, Milette, and myself. And of course, the Archbishop who signed the papers.
Oh my God.
Well, that was a real miracle. And since then, I know how nothing is as it looks like. I couldn't understand it at that age, but I took it as a support from the heaven and a miracle in my life. After that, another miracle was that I became a mom, la mère, and that it happened on my own birthday.
But Monique, her birthday is in January, on the same day as mine, 21st of January. We had lunch a few days before our birthdays, and that's when she advised me to see you. Oh, wait. Oh my God. No, a bit
Too much? I understand. You have all the right to be confused. Yes. All three of us were born on the same day. And yes, it is very frightening. And for that reason, I had to dig further. It was too significant to ignore it.
Wow. All three of us. But why didn't Monique...
Well, Well, she doesn't know either. I never...
But why didn't you tell me that in our first session?
I didn't want to scare you. Two people having birthdays on the same day, okay. But three, I found a sense in it. But you wouldn't at that moment. I was sure you would consider me as some kind of a witch. Do you remember my telephone conversation with Monique first time you came? I was also invited to that birthday lunch. But as I had my up and down moods caused by my hormones, I just couldn't. And I wasn't ready to present myself to you while being in that mood. Since I'm having a hard time controlling my emotions, I'm not seeing anyone. That lunch we had in Jardin d'Hiver, that was the last time I left the office. Bien. And now, today.
Oh my God. That's why Leah, the secretary, is on her annual leave for months. And that neighbor last time on the stairs, who was grateful that I was visiting you, Monique told me she didn't see you for months, as she thinks you are working hard with a bunch of clients. I knew something wasn't right, but the only reason Monique didn't come here today is because I convinced her that it's not necessary, and because she believes that I will get the answers faster than she would, as she feels that you're avoiding her. You know, she knows about your apartment. She met the new owners. Why didn't you tell us that you plan to sell it? Or at least to her? But you could invent something.
I planned to, but I just didn't find the right moment. My hormones are crazy. I didn't know how to tell it without getting deeper, as I did today with you. She's not ready anyway.
She or you?
Me? Of course, me. It's never a good time for the truth.
And it's always a good time. So what, you live off the money from the apartment?
Yes. This office is my home now.
And Leah's room is your bedroom, right?
Voila, you know everything. Milette left me a beautiful gift before she left.
Where did she go?
Home.
How does Fidel like this change? This new apartment?
Poor guy. Most of the time he's in the toilet. That's why he ran out so energetically last time. He misses me and Monique and kids. He wants to play. I know. Now one rakia would be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But wait, why don't we speak now in Croatian?
Please don't. It's just overwhelming for me. I've suppressed it a long time ago. You just came in just as a rakia on my wounds. Pain, disinfection, and soberness at the same time. Ooh, your lyrics killed me. Especially Miritash.
You know that I wrote it for another girl, a singer.
I felt as it was a very personal song.
Well, it is. This was my first song. I mean, it wasn't the first one, but it was the one in which I really met myself. And I considered it the most authentic one. It is a bit weird that I wrote it for another person.
I don't think it's weird, but completely right. While you were honoring and appreciating the values of others, at the same time you were talking about yourself without being aware of it. We are not aware of the fact how by serving others, we serve ourselves the most.
For me, that song was my aha moment. When I realized how much I admire other people and how much I wish all the best for her, even though I can sing too. I mean, without being jealous. I didn't sing at that point, but I perform as an actress in a theater. I guess subconsciously, this girl, my friend, was a medium through which I would tell the world how talented people should eventually shine out.
And were you? And you were thinking about yourself.
Well, yeah. Yeah, myself too. But very quickly I would think that I'm not that talented.
Yes, that imposter mask would come along very fast. And as a matter of fact, it was easier for you to talk through someone else's mouth. In that way, you wouldn't be completely exposed.
Well, I don't know. It might be. But at that time, I really wasn't thinking about it. I was just speaking straight from my heart. I honestly wanted other people to hear my friend singing, as she is an amazing artist, and she deserves her spotlight.
I don't doubt a second that that was your intention.
But I feel what you want to say. Consciously or subconsciously, we are all always doing everything for ourselves. Even when we give presents, right?
Right. Oof. I'm a bit cold now. Can we go back?
Oh, sure. You know what? I know a place where we could warm up a bit.
But you know that I really cannot be in closed spaces that are not of my own.
I know. But can you trust me a bit?
If everything that I told you today is not proof how much I trust you.
Okay, just give me a sec. Let me see which way. Okay. On y va. À droite. No worries. Sorry. I forgot.
Pas de problème. This is my favorite gallery.
Really? Okay.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Seems the theme is olive trees.
Ma chérie, this is the only theme here. Always. And I know that because this is ma galerie préférée dans mon quartier. The owner's father was from Dalmatia. And in this way, the owner gives homage to his father and his roots.
Oh, nice. Wow. What a coincidence.
Vraiment? After all you've heard today, you still think this is a coincidence?
Oh my God, of course not. Wow. Look, these ones are beautiful. If I had money...
Well, which one do you prefer?
This one. Have you been to Atelier de Lumière?
Bien sûr.
This one reminds me of Van Gogh's painting that was exhibited there. Wow. This one takes you straight to the olive grove. Why do you laugh?
Seems like we have a similar taste.
Ok. On continue? Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Just a second. Just a second. I need to check the map. It's here. Yes, it's around the corner. Just follow me.
Chez Miloš?
Da, kod Miloša. You didn't know that they have rakia just a block away.
I to bre prava srpska. Serbian rakia? Oh mon Dieu, I'm dead.
Come on, you owe me that much. What might happen? The worst just passed. We will just have one while standing here outside. It's on me. Anyway, I need it. Miloše, može dve šljive?